Welcome to the Wedding Community Podcast. With special guest, Archel Rolwing. And now your host, DJ Brett. Welcome to the Wedding Community Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Brett. Please start by telling us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Archel Rolwing, like you said, and it's a Rolwing. It's R-O-L, which is different than the Harry Potter author. That's a very mistake. Just throwing that out there. I'm actually from San Diego, but I've been in Vegas for the past 15 years or so. I went to UNLV for my undergrad. Met my husband there during my last semester, and after I graduated, we got married in California and then had 2 kids. So I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and we're all very happy in Vegas.
Tell us about your wedding planning business.
Archel Rolwing Events is an event and wedding planning and coordination company. I do primarily weddings, but have done other things, birthdays, bridal showers, things like that. Love weddings, so that's okay with me. And it's mostly just me, obviously, since it's my name. But I do have some behind-the-scenes people that I really work with as a team, and they're very important to what I do.
What does a wedding planner do?
Well, I'm contacted by brides at all parts of their wedding planning process. So sometimes I might get the bride that has not done anything, and she's looking for a planner first, which is ideal. Otherwise, sometimes people kind of think that they can do it on their own and then get wrapped up a little bit and then need somebody. So then I come in the middle and kind of sort everything out and then help them from there on. I also just do day of coordination. So sometimes someone will contact me, they plan their whole thing, and they just need me to kind of execute everything that they've planned for their wedding day.
When do you think a bride should get a wedding planner involved in the wedding planning process?
Ideally, I say from the get-go, from the beginning, because then there's not a lot of cleanup for the planner. When you have someone that's going through everything with you every step of the way, not only are you getting the best advice and speaking to the best people once you're booking all of your vendors and looking for your venue and all of that, but also it's just easier to have that one person that is with you that, the groom obviously is going to be there with the bride every step of the way, but not always is the groom part of the wedding planning process. So when you have a wedding planner and that's their job to be there with you to go through the ups and downs, because there are and can be ups and downs, and you celebrate the victories together and you go through the downs together, and I think that makes everything in the end that much more successful.
What does a wedding planner do?
Well, for Vegas weddings, it's a little bit more unique because a majority of the people that I work with so far have been people coming to Vegas for their destination wedding. So I might not meet you right away, face-to-face, but if you get that chance to sit down face-to-face with your wedding planner, then that's going to work out for you in the long run, because then you make that connection and everything's more clarified when you're speaking face to face, and having that connection too helps you to trust your wedding planner.
What makes Las Vegas weddings unique?
Well, a lot of people, when you hear Vegas weddings, they think Elvis, they think cheesy chapel or The Hangover. I don't know how many times I've been asked, "Oh, have you seen the chapel that they get married at The Hangover?" That doesn't exist. It's not real. So a lot of times people do have that perception of getting married in Vegas, but it's not. And yeah, there are those places, but that's not the only option for you here. There's so many people that have beautiful, stylish weddings that are actually fairly inexpensive if you're looking to have that nice of a wedding and that large of a wedding in your hometown. I've heard so many brides say, I would pay triple what I'm paying to get married in Vegas if I was getting married at home.
In your opinion, what draws people to get married in Las Vegas?
A big reason, actually, is that it's so easy to get here. So if you have Mr. Groom from Chicago and Miss Bride from Portland, and their families are from all over the place, Vegas is just a really easy place and a place that people want to travel to and spend the money to get here. So in that sense, it's a really great place to have your destination wedding. But also because Vegas, there's something for everybody. It's a fun town. You know, there's the shows and the gambling and the lights on the strip, but there's also hiking at Red Rock Canyon or Valley of Fire or Mount Charleston, and there's always something to do, whether it's doing the typical Vegas thing or finding the really nice golf courses off the strip, or, you know, shopping or whatever. So something for everybody.
What can a bride do to make sure a wedding planner is a good fit for her before hiring that wedding planner?
Again, having the ability to sit down and talk with somebody that you might hire on as your wedding planner is probably something you want to do. Getting the face-to-face is really great. For me, when I can't do that, talking on the phone or doing a video chat online, that's really, it helps you establish that connection because, quite frankly, not everybody is going to mesh well with your personality, you know. So if you're interviewing a wedding planner and you feel no connection, or you feel like, you know, they're not going to understand my vision or whatever, then that's gonna mean you need to keep looking for somebody. Sometimes you meet that person, and I meet my brides, and sometimes I know right away, like, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's really exciting, and I genuinely am excited for them, which makes me, you know, work harder. So I think that, yeah, it's important to know their background and know their experience and all of that, but also having that magical connection is really important.
So you feel like the number one thing to look for is that personal connection between the planner and the bride?
Absolutely, because if you can't be close to and trust your wedding planner, then it's going to be a rocky process.
What can a couple do to make sure their unique personality is reflected in their wedding?
I say to go with your gut with things. Go with things you actually like. You know, a lot of people want to do what's the trend right now, what's the trend for this year. We're so oversaturated, I think, with, you know, wedding magazines and looking up online and all these shows on TV, and it's almost telling people what they should and shouldn't like. And so I think as long as you stay true to, you know, to what you really like normally, then that's going to shine through in your wedding. You know, you don't want to, if you're more country, don't go with a venue that's super, you know, posh, or you don't go to the plaza. You know what I mean? It's the thing to do.
You're just going to feel uncomfortable, right?
Right, exactly. And then that shows through on the day of. It shows through in your photos. And so just really stick with what you like. I actually recently had a bride who had read online that it was tacky to do a money dance. And sure, some people think that, but I happen to know that from her culture, it was something that they do. It's just a tradition that they do at all of their weddings. And I told her, no, it's not tacky, because everybody that's attending the wedding is from your same culture. They want to do that for you. They expect that that's going to happen. So just because, you know, some stranger blogged that you shouldn't do it doesn't mean that you shouldn't. So, and they did it, and it was really fun.
What can a couple do to make sure their wedding is upbeat and fun?
They need to be having fun, because if they're not having fun, then why does it matter if anyone else is having fun? I don't know if this is something you can kind of help me out with, but I really feel like it's the MC or the DJ's job to kind of keep things fun. And I mean, going back to the fact that you have to trust your vendors, I expect that my brides can trust their DJs to keep the flow of the wedding going. When there's a lull, then, you know, to kind of pick it back up however they need to. But the DJ is a huge part of the fun of a reception, right?
So hire a great DJ, right?
Hire a great DJ.
Yeah, actually, the other thing I noticed too is the best weddings I ever do are the ones where the bride and groom are planted on the dance floor as well as the bridal party. If they don't leave the dance floor ever, I mean, the dance floor is already half full. What do you remember most about your wedding?
I got married in Laguna Beach in California. It was this kind of like art venue type place and really romantic, kind of European courtyard look to it. And it was the best day of my life. I loved everything about my wedding. There isn't really much I would change about it. And I could really go on and on about it. I loved my DJ. I was on the dance floor.
Nice.
It was just a really big celebration, and it was celebrating with the people that are most important to us, and the photography was great, and my flowers were fabulous, and I'll never forget it.
So you mentioned photography and flowers, but what are some of the other things that really stand out in your mind and that you remember about your wedding?
You know what? The things that stand out in my mind aren't what my centerpieces looked like or what my cake tasted like. It was the funny things that made me laugh. It was my bridesmaids and I were getting ready in the hotel room, and my daughter, who was 10 months at the time, was there, and she had fallen actually and gotten a little scrape on her face.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I was out of the room at that time. I think I was in the bathroom, and when I came back out, everybody was just dead silent, and I was like, what's going on? You know, what happened? And my maid of honor was like, oh my gosh, she's going to have this cut in all of the pictures.
Oh.
And I laughed about it. You know, like, you can't dwell on anything negative at all. It's those little nuances that make your wedding unique to you. When I walked down the aisle, I think I ran down the aisle. Like, my uncle escorted me down the aisle, and I was booking it down there, and my mom leaned into the aisle and she said, slow down, and everybody laughed, and, you know, it's stuff like that I remember most.
If you could go back and change one thing about your wedding, what would you change and why?
Actually, the biggest thing, and this is my testimony to my brides as well, to hire a professional videographer. It's an investment for sure. It was more expensive than we wanted to pay, which is why we didn't have it. We actually relied on guests to film things, but it flies by. And so the fact that now I can't go back and listen to what we said in our vows, or you know, what was said during the toasts when our maid of honor and best man was up there. People sometimes tell me, "Oh, I'll never go back and watch my wedding video," but I think it's just something where you don't realize the value of it right now, but you will for sure later on. So that's my one regret from my wedding day.
If you could give a bride one piece of advice, what would you tell her?
To trust your wedding vendors, probably first and foremost, because they're the professionals. We want your input, but we do this day in and day out. Like, trust what I'm telling you.
This has been a great show, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to get in touch with you. Can you please tell our audience how to get in contact with you?
Well, my contact information is on my website, which is really hard to spell, so hopefully you put that somewhere.
Can you spell it for us?
Yes, ARChelRolwing events.com. But I respond to emails very quickly. You can call me. I'm on Wedding Wire. I'm on Facebook. I'm pretty connected.